Well, hi everyone. This is the Carnivore Chronicles once more. I know I've been away for quite a while, and a lot of stuff happened in our life lately. A lot. Between health and health, it was kind of hard to get an update, but I'm here. And oh my god, I have so much to say, but I will do my very best to keep it very short and give you a little insight of my medical update, how doctors are never accountable, my super deep dive into quantum biology, how once more I discovered that the carnivore community is not as supported as I thought in the beginning, but that's okay. There's very good news with that too, because there's some really good point about that in many ways. I want to talk about humans, how we work, get a little bit of my, psychology in. I'm a psychologist after all, so I guess sometimes I just want to pop it in a little bit. Then I want to give you some news. I'm slowly, very slowly, health permitting, working on a new idea for this channel, because I thought that, okay, my health updates, yes, it can help people up there with similar problems, and I do throw lots of sciencey stuff in there here and there just to give updates about that too, but I want to do something more productive, and so I'm gonna shift this channel, with your help hopefully, a little bit towards some more what I call good news. So if you stay till the end, I'll talk about that. And then I'll explain to you why I thought about doing that, because there's a very scientific reason behind that. So stick with me and I'll give you all the updates coming up now. Okay, first of all, medical update. Today I'm not doing good, but I'm doing better. So if you see like a step, I'm going up and then staying stable, going down a little bit. But let's say I go up 2 steps, stable for a while, down a step, stable for a while, up 2 steps. So I am getting better. I have not even closely spent as much time sitting on the floor because I couldn't get up. So that is fantastic news, actually almost nothing. The downside is that sometimes I feel like I have energy, I can do stuff, and then I start doing something and I get overwhelmed by fatigue, and I get overwhelmed by palpitations, and some symptoms that tell me stop, which I do, because I have learned, listen to my body, and I stop. The lion diet has been helping tremendously. I have tweaked it here and there. I have done one thing to it that I have added, and that is milk. Fresh pasteurized milk, full fat obviously, because I'm too thin. I was still losing weight. I reached 49 kilos, which is 84 pounds, I think, and for 5'8" or 172 for Europeans, it's not that much. So I added milk. And it seems to be helping, because all the butter I was eating was not enough. So I have a few sips of milk during the day, mostly in the morning, not when I'm fasting and stuff, but I have tried adding, I think, 4 pieces of fruit, because we have some fruits growing here in our backyard. And one day I've tasted one, because I wanted to know. I want to know what it does. I don't care about paradigms out there. I want to know what it does to me and to my body. And later I want to talk about quantum biology. I might explain it a little bit more, because there's reason behind that too, that are very scientific. And so I tasted this fruit. It was okay, didn't do anything for a few days. After a few days, I tasted another piece. Now, we're talking about Nespole, geez, I don't know how they're called in English. So they're these tiny little fruits. They're kind of sour when they're not ready, sweet sour when they're ready. And obviously I wait until they're super ready, because I know what's in fruit if they're not really mature. So I don't do that anymore at all. I didn't do anything. After about a week, when the whole tree was pretty mature, I said, well, I'll have 2 today. 2 now realize they're tiny. They have huge seeds in the middle, and you take the skin off. So 2 is literally like 3 bites. So nothing bad happened, except that, oh my God, the gas. For the first time since carnivore, gas, I remember what it was, and I thought, like, I don't want that. This is something horrible. I can't believe I lived like that before. Yes, I did, like every other human that eats a normal diet with lots of fiber. it ferments and you get gas, and that gas was not fun. So I think I'm skipping that part of the fruit. It didn't affect my autoimmune disease for as far as I know. It didn't do anything to it, and it did not affect my blood sugar. But keep in mind, I've been working on my blood sugar with the fasting and everything a lot. So I have a fasting blood sugar of 72, 74. And after I eat, I still enter what is considered a fasting state with 88 to 90 after eating a big heavy meal, especially very protein meal. And on that regard, I want to tell you, fish increases blood sugar a lot more than beef protein. Because every time I have fish, which I integrated a lot, I started only wild-caught fish, but thank God we live on the Mediterranean, so we have a lot of that, and it's pretty cheap. Every time I took my blood glucose to do the keto mojo afterwards to see where I was at, on fish, I am always over 90. Always. It doesn't matter what else I ate that day. Even if fish was the only thing I've had that day, it spikes over 90. I can have 3 steaks during the day and it never reaches 90. So everyone that says that red meat spikes your blood sugar, well, fish spikes it a lot more. And I had never heard that before. And I did, I think, 4 tests, and every single time it happened. The first time, it was just by chance. The second time, I did it on purpose. And so the third and fourth time, so because I wanted to find out if it's true. And yes, it's absolutely true. One of the reasons I wasn't here was because my mother has been in the hospital for over 10 days. That gave me even more insights on our medical system and on our food. The horror I've seen her go through in these days is unspeakable, and it's all caused by how we eat. I can say that besides some sugar excesses that she's had in her life, like most people, especially when they reach a certain age and they probably, rely on the sugar effect to cope with life, she had a pretty healthy life. Never really went crazy with packaged food, never really went crazy with things that we're not supposed to eat. She followed the guidelines, and the guidelines are horrendous, and her body is crumbling. She doesn't have bones anymore. Everything is just crumbled. And she literally ended up in the ER with hallucinations caused by arthritic inflammation. They cultured everything. She did not have one bacteria. But her inflammation, like her PCR was 130, which, if you know what it is, it's insane. So yeah, she had hallucinations due to the inflammation, which is so sad, especially knowing what I know now, that those things are completely preventable, regardless of how old you are. And because doctors can't really do much about it, so they don't do anything about it, and they try to tell the families that everything is fine. And I said, no, nothing is fine in here. What you're doing is just palliative cure. Tell me so, and so I'll understand. But if you don't tell me so, it's like, anyhow, yeah, it was a challenge. If you say doctors that you're a doctor in anything scientific, they get scared of you. If you don't tell them, they ignore you. So it's always a catch-22 on how to interact with them. But it's bad. What I saw in that hospital was so freaking sad, so sad, really so bad. The best part were the nurses. The nurses seemed to still have some compassion. I don't know how COVID and everything that happened didn't knock it out of them, but I still found lots of nurses with a lot of compassion, and that is, I think, a miracle, and that is one of my best news of today, because I really want to praise the profession, because it's also true that if nurses fail in their job, they get fired. If doctors don't cure you, it's considered normal. So doctors are totally allowed to not cure you, fail in treatments, give you guidelines that are completely wrong and make you worse, and put it on you, make you responsible for what is happening. As I said in my short yesterday, there's only 2 categories I could think of in the whole world that are capable and can get away with not doing their job and still being paid and praised: doctors and politicians. And that really sucks. I did a deep dive into quantum biology. I'm quite dyscalculic. Numbers for me are a mystery. They create anxiety, but anything quantum, for some reason, I'm passionate about and I understand very well. And so I discovered quantum biology and how it makes sense like everything else. Like carnivore makes sense because we have evolved as a species eating a carnivore diet, mostly meat with some other stuff when we need it to. And that's probably how we found out what was really poisonous to us and would kill us instantly and what didn't. And the same thing is true for quantum biology. In a nutshell, quantum biology says, go back to nature. It's not true that the sun is bad for us because actually we have light receptors in so many places inside of our body. We have them inside of our brain. So the light somehow enters our brain and enters our skull and everything and goes into the middle of our brain, not only through the eyes, and tells something to our body. Tells our body, make this hormone, shut down this other hormone, make this protein, stop making this other protein. And we have receptors for infrared light, which is the one we don't even see, so we don't even know when it's out there. And we have receptors for UV light, A and B. We have receptors for all the other types of light. And blue light is what comes off all our screens, our little things here too. These are massive emitters of blue light. And just as a hint, blue light comes up in the morning. Blue light is what tells our body to wake up. Wake up, and it gives us a stress moment, a good stress moment to be alert because we have to start our day and we have to go on with our duties, whatever we need to do, work, survive, have fun, whatever. Without that, we have troubles waking up. Now you can imagine that having this in bed, having this at night makes a hell of a difference because you're telling your body to wake up instead of going to sleep. So if you suffer from insomnia, you've been on carnivore for a while and you still suffer from insomnia, mask your blue light. You can get the clips for your glasses, or you can get glasses, or you can get lamps. And now I need to tell you something else. There's all LED lights that are not specific for not having blue or green light will emit blue light. So if you put a screen on your, or filter on your cell phone or your computer, on your TV, whatever, but you have LED lights all over in the house, you won't have any benefit because that will still give you a blue light and your receptors will think, I still need to make cortisol. I still need to wake up. Another thing is I deep dove into the mitochondria health because I obviously have a hell of a problem with my mitochondria and my energy. I looked into all things sciencey to figure out how to do it, and that too is addressed a lot by quantum biology. And there's some really interesting facts about deuterium, which is a heavy hydrogen. Again, in a nutshell, everything that is packaged contains a lot of deuterium, so this heavy hydrogen. We need hydrogen to make energy, but the heavy hydrogen will prevent us from using it to make energy. Our water supplies, like tap waters, are all very deuterium heavy. A normal person that drinks water from their tap or even or eats packaged food, any type of packaged food, has lots of deuterium, and that also prevents our mitochondria to change the basis we have that we usually use to make energy in the output of energy. If we have a lot of deuterium, the hydrogen it takes, it can't use it correctly. But as everything in nature, because it's present in nature, deuterium is useful. It's not all bad. It's also useful, especially for kids or anyone that needs to grow or heal something. Deuterium can be good because it makes you grow. It gives signals that things need to happen. So again, please don't think that deuterium is only absolutely bad. It is not. It's bad when it's too much, when it's not in the correct time. It's like blue light. Blue light is really good in the morning. It helps you a lot to wake up and do your stuff. At night, it's the deuterium. It's horrendous because it will screw up all your hormones. No, I'll digress. I hope you won't mind too much, but just to give you an idea about what is natural and what is not. When I was 14, I was on a holiday with my sister in Greece. She was older than me. And I developed what was called allergy to the sun. I literally broke out in a crazy eczema, and they tried to put on cream after cream after cream to protect my skin from the sun. And I went to, I don't know how many specialists to fix that problem. and none of them was able to fix the problem. Every time I would put layers and layers of cream on me, I would go out on the sun, even with the sunblock, and I would get this eczema. And everyone stated I was allergic to the sun. I was allergic to the cream. I'm highly allergic to any type of sunscreen. Now, again, humans have lived under the sun since the beginning of time. Like, this whole planet relies on the sun, on the information, literally on the information that is inside of every light photons. Light is all information, and different types of light carry different type of information. Different types of frequencies of light tell our body to do something different. When you block this out, you wear sunglasses, hats, sunscreen, that information cannot reach your body, and that is deleterious. It kills you slowly, like, seed oil. Same thing. We give our body something that it can't process, it can't do anything with. I have been doing infrared light therapy, actually with this tiny little machine that was pretty inexpensive compared to all the other ones, and I was so happy. I got someone gave me a code, and so I got it even cheaper. I'll try to see if I can find it if someone is interested, because compared to other stuff which had really mixed reviews, I think this one is really, really good. And I think it's really helping my kidneys, because I put it on my kidneys, and it's doing, I think, a magical job. And then, of course, I sit in the sun. That's what I do most of the day. Thank God I live in a sunny place. It rains here maybe 3 days a year, so I don't have a sun problem. It's free, and it's healing me so much. So, talking about the dogma of the carnivore community, I have looked into the carnivore diet because I'm a nerd, because I'm a geek, because I want to know things and I want to learn them myself. And I don't like people telling me just because it's like that, because I read it. To me, that doesn't mean much. I read it, to me means, okay, I want to read it too. Okay? Let me put something over, because of course I don't put the protection against the wind, and then the wind comes here. Okay. Regarding the carnivore groups and philosophy, as I said in the intro, I have some issues with it now, because I find that, let's put it this way, I believe that many people are failing because some famous people out there are too strict. I understand we can live off of only meat. We can probably live off of only steak and not get sick. But there's a big but here. Most people already are sick. And most people that are really sick are desperate. And when you're desperate, it also makes you weak. Not weak because you're just intrinsically a weak person. Weak because you're exhausted, because literally you do not have more energy to find out, to listen, to look into stuff. And especially you're weak in trust. It's so hard to trust someone. So if you have a famous, handsome doctor that may tell you that only do this, only eat steak and salt and water, and that's it, you probably feel good for a while. But if you're like me with a severe autoimmune disease, or if you're like some other people that I'm interacting with, and like I have a sister that has lots of problems too, but she's a lot older than me, and she's been trying to find out how to fix her problems for a lot longer. She's been carnivore now for a few weeks, and I see her struggle. Contrary to myself, she's a heavy sugar addict. She's a carb addict. She has used sugar to deal with her problems for so long. And so with someone like her, I would use a completely different approach. I try to send her to, let's say, Mary Emmerich more, because she has that comprehension that what you want with people is to be successful, not to be the coolest, not to be, the hardcore one, because once you start being successful, you will naturally follow a path that is good for you. I don't know what I will do in the future. I will, for 100%, not eat anything that gives me gas again, because with my gut issues, that's a no-no. If I think apples don't give me gas, because I think I had tried them while I was already carnivore, because we have apples here, and I had, I think, 1 apple in 3 days with some cheese. It didn't give me gas, it didn't do anything. I probably will have apples if they don't give me problems, because I don't see a problem with picking an apple from my own tree. Sharing something that naturally grows in season, I really don't have that much problem. I do have a lot of problem with people eating fruits or vegetables that they ship from the other side of the world, because it's not what nature wants. Going back to quantum biology, our body reads the light and reads the earth. Like when you ground, if you ground for 30 minutes in the place you just landed, that is out of your time zone, it takes 30 minutes to your body to read the information of where you are. And you will not suffer any jet lag, because your body will get the information from the place and adapt all its hormones. Isn't that mind-blowing? We live in little boxes with artificial light, artificial food, artificial everything, and we pretend to be healthy. It's just impossible. There's just no way we can do it. If you want to do something good for yourself, be outside as much as possible and get all blue blockers that you can afford and put on. Just start with one, just get the glasses. Those will protect you also from the LED in case you have them everywhere. And I can assure you that even my insomnia has gotten so much better. This was literally the one thing that I was still not doing. Then of course, if you want to go deep down, go ground. If you live anywhere where you can get a hold of even a little patch of grass, 30 minutes will change your whole metabolism and start putting electrons in your battery. We run on electrons, we don't run on sugar. Sugar is turned into electrons. So we run on electrons, and the earth gives us electrons. So if you can ground for 30 minutes, even once a week, your life could improve massively. And it's free. It's free, that too, it's free. And the wetter it is, the more you'll ground. And they have proven that these electrons go and start filling your battery. Exactly like you plug in a cell phone. You see the battery that slowly goes up and up and up and up. The more you do it, the more your battery will fill. And what happens over time is that your battery stays full. And until you reach an enormous stress-filled period of life, or you get sick, your battery is always full because it's used to being full. Contrary to cell phones, that the more it depletes itself, the less they work. We're the opposite. The more we use it, the more it works and more efficient it becomes. And there's research on that. They've done tons of research on that, which is magnificent, actually. So these are most of my updates. And now let's get to the good news channel. So as you know, I'm living through all this stress period, and I am in a lot of need for good news. I'm in a lot of need for good news because it's a period of stress. Every time I lack of sleep or something stressful happens that really requires a lot of energy from me, and right now a lot of energy is really not that much, I get a shingle outbreak. At the moment I have 3, one on my back, one under my armpit, and one here outside of my nose and here. And one on my, I can't touch it, on my neck too, so actually 4. And that is really painful. To compensate, I always tend to look at the bright side, not because I'm an optimist, but because I know science and I know how our brain works. And I know that if I get used to looking at a specific thing, I will find that specific thing. If I look for stress, if I look for bad news will come. This world is full of it. But if I look for good news, if I look for fun things, relaxing moments, or relaxing information and connection with other people, I find them. Because it's full of those too. We're just not used to looking for them. So I want to make, possibly, health permitting, a weekly good news chronicle. Well, I get your input from you. What is your good news this time? Please write on the comments below something good that happened to you. It can be carnivore related. It can relate it to a friend of yours. It can be related to anything really, as long as it's a good news. And I want to be a little bit more specific. I want it to be linked to human connection. I mean, if you win the lottery, it's fantastic. But I'm more interested in my neighbor gave me $100 because they knew I couldn't put gas in my car. I want to help humans see that we are capable of connecting, because we live far away from each other. So through the internet, you know, there's this internet bubble where you like a pet, you like a puppy, and the internet will show you puppies over puppies over puppies over puppies. It's the internet bubble. You're shown what you look for. So if by disgrace you look at a bad news one day because the title catches you, you'll be shown lots of bad news. I want to be part of that change that shows good news of human interaction, that shows that we're not alone, that we are interconnected, and that what happens to you on the other side of the world actually affects me here. And by doing so, we just need to create it. So please, if I have a prayer for you, please write in the comment anything good that has happened to you lately. That way I can start getting some good news for my Good News Chronicles, weekly chronicles. Science has shown very specifically that once 10% of humans change a paradigm or believe in something or stop believing in something, it doesn't matter. When we change our mind, it takes only 10% of the planet to do so, to have a complete shift, an unstoppable shift that nothing in the world can change. It's, you know, maybe you know it as the 100th monkey. It's the same paradigm. It's quantum, and it's real. It's very real. Spooky effect at the distance. That's what Einstein called it. I want to be part of that spooky effect at the distance, and I want you, obviously, because I can't talk about human connection on my own. That's why I need you to help me. So write in the comments. You can even write 10. It doesn't matter. The more, the better. Think of it. And by thinking of it, you will start shifting your consciousness towards something good. If it's carnivore related, fantastic. I want to share good news about carnivore diet too. Carnivore, ketovore, anything that's changed towards a better and more human appropriate diet is all in. Anything with your friends, your family, anything that you can think of. I think this is it for this time. It's already, oh my God, so long. I spoke for so long. I hope I didn't bother you. If you didn't yet, please subscribe to my channel, share this video with family and friends that you know might be helped, and that's about it. I'll see you next time with good news.